guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're back here at Jaguar Land Rover St. Pete, and guess what? I have that off-road SUV that you have been salivating for. This is it. This is a 2023 Land Rover Defender. Of course, it's the four-door, which means it's a Defender 110, but the big difference is what's underneath the bonnet. This is our Carpathian edition with a supercharged V8. But before we get into this maximum defense of a Defender, let's talk about what's going on here. Land Rover, they've been doing the business for decades, this iconic British brand. What's interesting is here in the United States, they don't have the same lineage as in other parts of the world, because Land Rover has made vehicles that have gone through the thickest of rainforests, desert, rock crawling, you name it. This Defender can definitely handle it. Now, with the movement towards electrification, Land Rover is wanting to give one last hurrah. And what that last hurrah means is you're gonna get some supercharged V8 goodness underneath the hood. Now, the Carpathian edition also brings some other nice touches, but what I wanna find out is it worth the price, and is it now or never? If you want a Defender that's gonna go through the thickest of the thick, is this one the one to buy with that supercharged V8? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this Carpathian edition Defender 110 and find out. Right off the bat, the whole way it just sits here, it has a presence to it not many SUVs or off-road vehicles have. At the front of the business, you're gonna notice that Carpathian gray, it's actually a satin finish with metallic to it. So it really shows off the lines, but it also gives it like a sinister look all at the same time. Of course, you're gonna get the full LED headlights, daytime running lamps, and turn signals. On our particular one, we have the optional rock guards. So if any big rock is gonna fly your way, it's gonna protect that beautiful headlight housing. You're gonna have your washers at the front end of the business to clear them off as you get your mud, as you're driving through the mall parking lot. Maybe you're going down Rodeo Drive and somebody spills their smoothie on the front end of your Land Rover Defender. You can wash that smoothie off. As we drop down, one of the things that I really love is the attention to detail. So you're gonna get full functionality, especially on the corner vents, because we do have heat exchangers that are lurking behind. We have the LED fog lamps, and there's all that attention to detail looking really good. You drop down, you can see how everything is gonna curve underneath. That's gonna help our approach and departure angles as you are going off-roading, or maybe you're driving over a mall speed bump. That's gonna make sure that nothing's gonna scrape. Now, we come across that massive front grille. This is really where Land Rover hit the nail on the head with their retro design. Some brands bring this retro design and they flop. This is really showing that connection to the past. I love up top the gunmetal gray finish on the upper grille. Full functionality. Of course, you're gonna have the Land Rover badge in that British racing green color. All that history. Lots of openings all the way through. We gotta have the required forward-facing camera. And I like the way that they did this almost like an egg crate design up top. And then working your way down below, you can see, like I said, they curve. And this is all, ow, that hurts. That's all metal underneath. So you're gonna have skid plates all the way underneath this vehicle. It does have the adaptive air ride suspension, so you could actually raise and lower over 10 inches of ground clearance when you do put it in that highest setting. Right now, you're looking at 8.6 inches of ground clearance. This could go through about 3 feet of water. That's what Land Rover brings to the table. Now, as we rise up, the hood is just a thing of beauty. You're gonna get your bulge. We got some supercharged power. We got some supercharged goodness. You're gonna get your bulge here, what everybody wants. I love the way that they do the anti-glare strip with the 110. 110 means that this is 110 inches long. If you see a 90, that's the two-door version. That's 90 inches long, so it's a little bit shorter. You got your Defender badge in that gunmetal metallic gray. I'm gonna zonk it. I wish that they would kind of recess the letters into the hood to give it a little bit cleaner look, but definitely the bulge, the anti-glare strip, and the way that they do the detail on the side of the bonnet there really looks super clean. Now, as we come around the bend, of course, we're gonna have some special touches on this Carpathian edition. Massive wheels. So you'll see that we have real clean design. You got the Defender name on it, looking great. Lurking behind those wheels, you got those ginormous Land Rover Brembo 6-piston calipers that are going to clamp down on rotors that are 15 inches in diameter. So you got 22-inch wheel, 15-inch rotor with a 6-piston caliper. Those rotors are almost as big as the pizza that you're probably stuffing in your mouth right now that you got from Domino's. Maybe you got some of that hot chocolate lava cake. Well, guess what? These brakes are going to squeeze those rotors to where there's going to be hot chocolate lava all over the place. But definitely love the style. Of course, we got those off-road Superior tires that have all of the shield protection on the sidewall to protect what's going on from Nito. And then I really like the way they do the opening of the fender. A lot of gloss black. It looks good as it's sitting here new. I just don't know how that's gonna age, but I'm gonna have Steven kind of zoom in and show the upper control arm. You could actually see the air suspension there that's gonna allow this vehicle to raise and lower, but I love the heavy duty materials that they're using for their suspension. Now, as we kind of rise up, the rest of the fender, you got a nice fender flare, functional venting on the side with the Defender name. I really think that looks super clean. And then, of course, dropping our way down, we do have the V8 badge. That's gonna be super important because of what we got underneath the hood. Now, dropping down the side of the vehicle, you could see the actual length of it being the 110 in that lower setting. I love the boxy look. It looks so rugged, but yet also purposeful at the same time. You're gonna have 360-degree cameras with the gloss black on the mirror caps. So that's nice to have that camera technology. And even the way that they did the A-pillars. Look at the way it's got the satin with the gloss and then the flat roof. Now, as we kind of go around and come down the side of the vehicle, everything is squared off. If you ever wonder, well, what's this area for? They actually sell optional side bags that actually mount on this square here. So you can actually get more room for your Twinkies, your off-road Twinkies, by getting the hard boxes that mount to the side, but just the attention to detail with the Land Rover badge and everything. And then swinging all the way behind, it just all comes together, that boxy look. I love the way they did the taillights. Everything full LED with the squares, looking clean. We got the Defender name. And then obviously from the back portion, you're gonna have your spare wheel and tire, same exact size, 22 Nito off-road tires. And then I'm gonna have us drop down a little bit because you are gonna get those tow hooks to tow those Broncos and those Wranglers out of the mud, out of the dirt. And then looky what we have here. Quad tip exhaust, gonna let that V8 sing. Think about it. Bronco, you can't get a V8. You can get a Jeep Wrangler with a 392. So it's gonna be interesting to see how those two perform against one another. But beefy rear control arms, and that freaking exhaust is a thing of beauty. Plus, you still got your full tow capability, which is awesome. But why don't we go ahead? We talked about what goodness is on the outside. Let's check out that supercharged V8 underneath the bonnet. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. Of course, you got hydraulic hood struts to hold that hood open. Underneath the hood, first time ever on this Defender 110, we got the supercharged V8. One thing I want to point out before we get to the engine is you'll notice the bracing that Land Rover puts to help stiffen up the front end of the business. All these wires and hoses and everything, that's for the air suspension that is adaptive as well. You got your different modes for different stiffness of the suspension. Engine cover, I was hoping for something a little bit more, but I'm glad that it's got the supercharged V8 name there because plucked right from the SVO, Special Vehicle Operations Team, we got that 5-liter supercharged V8 pumping out 518 horsepower, 461 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to an 8-speed automatic, 0 to 60 in about 4.3 seconds, top speed almost 150 miles per hour. The vehicle weighs 5,735 pounds. It could tow up to 8,201 pounds. MPGs, if you're really concerned about that, you're probably looking at the wrong vehicle. I could find you a Prius down the street that may really tickle your fancy, but MPGs, 14 in the city, 19 on the highway, and that's to be expected with this supercharged V8 goodness. But you know what? It's one thing to talk about the numbers. It's another thing to look underneath the hood. I hope you're ready for a little bit of an eargasm, because if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's fire up this Land Rover Defender and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside this 2023. Yes, you heard me correctly. 2023 Land Rover Defender 110 Carpathian Edition. And I know you're saying to yourself, Joe, I'm loving this Carpathian Edition. Carpe diem, seize the day. I want one of these. But of course, how much is the price? Very good question. MSRP for this particular trim and the way it's optioned is right around $122,000. But let's see what you get for your off-road money. To the door panels. Love the nice clean style of the Defender door panel. Up top, you're gonna get that soft neoprene material. And then one thing you'll notice is how they bring the exterior color to the interior. My only zonk is, technically, it's not the same color. It's a gloss metallic gray, not a satin flat metallic gray. We do have the 3 memory seat settings for the passenger and the driver. So the good news is now you can have 2 more friends and they could each have the seat set up exactly the way that they want it. Soft touch on the armrest. And of course, this Defender has the Meridian premium sound system with the tasteful speaker grille covers. Door pocket is massive. You could actually get 2 of the world famous Frenchie's Clearwater Beach grouper sandwiches with extra tartar sauce. And you could even get a Yeti bottle in there as well with some Hawaiian punch to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, you got a massive oak crap handle for your passenger to hold on. Love the soft touch with the stitching, and then even the way that they kind of embossed that Defender name into the back portion. We got a nice little tray there. Why get hangry on an off-roading excursion? You could put 2 king-size Snickers, plus we got a USB-C easily accessible for your passenger. Infotainment. I know you might not have 11 inches, but guess what? This Land Rover Defender has 11.1 inches of infotainment. It's that Pivi Pro operating software, very easy to use. Of course, your navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Let me show you a couple of my favorite features. Let's say that you want to brag to your friend that your Land Rover Defender is bigger than his, and he's like, nuh-uh. You could actually bring up the measurements, and then you could go toe-to-toe with him and see whose is really bigger. Plus, what's kind of cool is when you raise and lower it, it actually changes the measurements. So that's a nice little touch there. Let me show you a little extra stuff. We got intelligent 4x4, so you could actually see where that torque distribution's going. I like the way it's got our 2-speed transfer case in there. It shows the gradient, the pitch, the angle, even shows us our altitude, which we're not in a very high Florida. Obviously, you go a little bit higher somewhere else, you're gonna get some major elevation. It lets you know in our setting that we could go through 2 feet, 9 inches of water. Obviously, we could raise it up. And then let me show you the backup cam. Super duper clear. You got on-road. We can change the angles a little bit. Really allows you to take advantage of what's going on all around you while you are off-roading. This guy right here, this is gonna control your 8-speed automatic. And then we got those multi-function knobs and buttons for your dual climate control, ventilated seats, heated seats. You could raise and lower your Land Rover Defender at any given notice. And then talk about storage, look at what we got down below. Enough space for at least 8 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Let me give you a little bit of a history fun fact. Peanut butter and jelly is what helped the American GI soldiers win World War II for the Allies. Up top, you'll notice easily accessible USB-C, USB-A, and a 12-volt. Just don't stick your finger or any other body part in there, even though you might be tempted. 2 cup holders, your standard Land Rover key fob, nothing wrong with that. It's got the protective sticker. Let me see if I can peel it back and show you what's underneath the sticker. There it is, nice and fresh, Land Rover. Wireless charging, more of that soft neoprene material, and then bam, Check it out. You got your own refrigerator for a center console with ambient lighting. Think about it. The day after Thanksgiving, your mom, your grandmother makes you those turkey salad sandwiches from all the leftover turkey. You could keep them nice and chilled in this area. Close it up, and then the seats. Combination of the leather, the grippy cloth material, and the Carpathian edition has Alcantara. No, that's not your friend Al, Mr. Cantara down the street. Alcantara is the name of the company that makes this material. And then you'll notice that we have super supportive bottom with the electric assist for both the passenger and the driver. And then up top, we got a nice full-length panoramic sunroof, lots of room in here, brings the vitamin D nice and bright, and then you do have a digital rear view mirror. I could actually count how many whiskers that Jaguar has on the grille. That's how clear it is. But you know what? There's more to come in this supercharged story. Why don't you come over here? I got Alcantara on the steering wheel. I want to show you. Come on over. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel of this Land Rover Defender V8 powered. How do I know it has a V8? It says it right there. Illuminates at night, LED lighting on this little tiny sill plate, and then pedal box. Tasteful aluminum brake pedal and throttle, and you got a nice large dead pedal there to hold your body into place. What's also helping your body stay in place are going to be these seat controls that are easy to get to. And then speaking of the room in here, I'm swimming in space. I could actually grow another foot or two and still have plenty of room in here. But let me show you some of the special touches. Alcantara on the steering wheel. Of course, every off-road vehicle needs Alcantara, especially when you have those muddy handprints that are going to get all over it. Heated steering wheel with the Defender name. Love the stitching. Love the flat black everywhere. And then on the back, you got these surfboard style metal paddles, not plastic, metal paddles to go up and down the 8-speed automatic. We got an electric tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then you got 12.3 inches of digital display. I love the clean graphics, the way that it has your speedometer, tachometer, and then that center display you could actually change into different readouts. So you can actually change the display, 1 dial, 2 dial, so on and so forth. Or you could go ahead and put your trip information in there. Trip A, trip B, all that information. And you got a head-up display, which will allow you to really stay focused on the off-road terrain. But let's get into the back seat and see how much room is back there for your rear seat passengers. All right, guys, back seat time, and I'm telling you right now, your passengers are gonna be spoiled. Way more room in this back seat than a Wrangler or a Bronco, which would be those other off-road, really heavy-duty vehicles. What's great, though, is because of that flat roof, even with the panoramic sunroof, it just allows everybody to have the perfect amount of headroom. And with the safari glass windows, it just gives it a nice extra feel, plus extra light. But let's talk about what's going on here. You got your oh crap handle, nicely placed to hold on as you're off-roading as the passenger. This is not a handle. This is actually a coat hanger. You know that high school jacket that you have with all the football patches on it and pins? You could hang that here and hold on to it for your 20-year reunion. I'm not really loving the cargo net pockets on the backs of the seat, so I am gonna zonk it, but there is plenty of room to put some bangers and mash, maybe some fish and chips in that back portion. Command center, AC vents and AC controls, plus you're gonna have ventilated and heated seats for the back. USB-Cs, 2 of them, nicely laid out. I got plenty of room as I'm sitting here, and I have not moved the seats. Seats are exactly where they were when we started the review, so I'm feeling really good. What about the armrest? Pull it down. Charmin soft, of course, British Charmin soft, which is actually softer than the US toilet paper here in the United States. So it's super soft. 2 cup holders for a couple, maybe glasses of tea. I like some iced tea. You can have some hot tea if you want. And then they did the seats just like they did up front, nicely styled, and they're gonna hold you into place. But you know what? Let's see. We talked about the passengers that you're gonna haul. Let's see what kind of cargo we could haul in this Land Rover Defender Carpathian edition. All right, guys, cargo time. You got that classic rear swinging door. The only zonk for this is if you're parallel parked or if you have something behind you, you're not gonna be able to swing the door open. Now, what you're gonna be greeted to is a nice tall opening, and that's something that I think that's always been super well laid out with these Land Rover Defenders is how much room you have height-wise. Width is a little tight, but you're looking at 16 cubic feet of space with this rear seat row up. Obviously, if you want a little bit more room, you could fold those seats down for when you need to get that off-road barrel of pickles that you're going to take with you as you go off-roading. Now, the cool thing is with the air suspension, there's buttons that are in the back that you could lower and actually raise this Defender very easily. So that's a nice little feature there. And then one of my other favorite touches that's functional but also stylish is the Safari roof glass. Really gives it that classic Land Rover appeal and lets a little extra light in. And then as we kind of slide down, you're gonna have the required Twinkie cargo net back here. You could put a baker's dozen, but don't go for 14 because you're gonna squirt cream all over the place. And then another nice feature is having that home power source, easy to get to. Camping, whatever you're doing, we got the all-weather Land Rover protection for the floor mats. But yes, this has a lot of room, and yes, this has some unique style, but what I wanna find out is, does this have the on-throttle excitement that we want out of a V8? If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get to it. All right, guys, we're inside this 2023 Land Rover Defender 110 Carpathian Edition. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. Yes. Woo! Golly, the freaking torque from this thing. I thought that the straight six in this Land Rover had plenty of power, but when you shoehorn a 5-liter supercharged V8 underneath the bonnet, it just changes the whole personality of this beast. Now on the interior, I think you're getting plenty of nice touches to separate this Carpathian Edition from the rest of the Land Rovers. Maybe just a little bit more on the niceties would have been a little extra touch, but the look with that paint job, the sound of the V8 rumble, that's what really makes it worth the price for sure. And remember, the days are numbered for this type of off-road SUV as we move towards electrification. I'm actually gonna come to a complete stop. Nobody's behind us, so we're good to go. And we're going to go on throttle again, this beast. On throttle! Jesus. I tell you, it's crazy with the off-road tires to be able to accelerate like this thing does and just have that whole environment just scream, I'm a badass. From the look to the sound, nothing's being pumped in through speakers, nothing artificial. I like the nice balance in the steering wheel. Of course, those metal supersized paddles really allow you to go through the 8-speed automatic yourself. And then visibility is killer in this thing. It just allows you to just be comfortable and confident, whether you're off-roading or whether you're just having a good old time going through the gears in the on-throttle action of the supercharged V8. This thing definitely does not disappoint. But the throttle sensitivity is great. Weight of the steering is spot on. And then the seats are very comfortable. They hold you in place without being too obtrusive. But it's really the personality of this thing. It's like taking a Durango Hellcat and making it off-road worthy. That's what I feel in this thing. And it's almost like a case of what might have been if Ford was to put a V8 underneath the hood of a Bronco. But man, this thing, the 8-speed shift's super smooth, but it's just the torque delivery. It just puts you back in the seat like no other off-road vehicle. But yet it has those nice high-end finishes that you want, which is great too. On throttle. Here we go. Yeah. Look at this. Jesus. Thank God we got those massive 6-piston calipers, because you start to build up steam very quickly. 0 to 60 in about 4.3 seconds is nothing to just be shy about. This thing brings the goods, and it brings it in a very big way, not just from the size, but also with what's happening underneath the hood. And then the wonderful thing is, you can daily drive this, got plenty of room for everybody. And then when you want to get on it, you can. But that 8-speed shifts so smooth. I love seeing the bulge in the hood. Hard throttle, look at this. And that was from 60 miles an hour, the way it just continues to pull through the gears. Nice turn in. When you get up high in the RPM and you really start to hear her sing, it just puts a smile on your face. And this Land Rover Defender brings nothing but the smiles per miles, for sure, in this vehicle. But I hope this was a nice overall view of what the Defender 110 Carpathian Edition is bringing to the table. We're gonna get back to Jaguar Land Rover St. Petersburg and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. Guys, it's been one heck of a supercharged kind of day here at Jaguar Land Rover St. Pete. Definitely want to thank Miro, Jeff, and the rest of the crew getting us access to one of their very first Carpathian Edition supercharged V8 Defenders. Let me know what you think. Are you getting enough for the price? And is it now or never to go out and get one of these, because we're moving towards electrification? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radies Rides family. We got to give a huge thank you to great camera work being done by Stephen Flood and Stephen Flood Photography. Show him what you think of his camera skills, because I'm dying to find out what you think in that comment section. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.